The Match Ball.
Hello there, welcome to the show. It's brought to you in association with Levi's Solicitors. Michael, do you think no one's got any patience for it today?
Well, it's probate conveyancing. No, fucking hell. I'm sorry. Lasting powers of attorney. That's what I meant to say. 15% off that and wills and conveyancing till the end of October. Thank you very much.
LeviSolicitors.co.uk/the square ball for all the information on that. Thank you to Levi's for the continued support. Sorry about the read. Dan and Michael and Chris here to discuss that. A 0-1 at home to Burnley. That's what I feel about it. It's a noise rather than a... I don't really have the words for it, which is a bit of a problem given that we've got to sit here and talk about that game. I just come away from it a little bit indifferent and meh and thinking, well, fine, we've seen that before.
It's a weird game to leave, isn't it? Because you sort of think, maybe they'll do something mad. Maybe they'll sack Farker. And you think, and if they did, would I care?
That's the thing as well.
It probably wouldn't be a great sign for us at this point in the season to sack a manager, but equally you kind of go, well,
better now than too late.
You think get rid?
Oh, I don't know. I don't really care anymore.
Is this your debut match ball appearance, and you say sack the manager straight away?
You told me to say really controversial things.
Obviously,
and you boo-booed the first 10 things I came up with. So,
yeah, this is not too bad.
This is the thing. Like we've seen this before against teams that sit in a low block, and we have to give credit to Burnley, I suppose, to an extent because they set out with a game plan and it worked. Admittedly, they benefited from a mistake, but they then defended their lead and. It's our job to break it down, or rather Farker's job to break it down in the best way that he sees fit, and it didn't really work, did it? Do we have three big things to talk about then? The big three? Because I can't think of three other than just like meh, frustration.
It's a big slip.
Yeah.
I almost... There's still a lot to be done between him falling over and Koleosho getting to the goal. So...
It felt like Bogle spent a lot of time guarding the far post rather than like addressing the man who was...
It was between the two. If he commits himself to the ball, he's going to pass it straight past him, because I know there was a little bit of frustration in that moment when people were kind of saying go to the ball. But if you go to the ball, the man is straight through in the middle, so you try and slow it down as much as possible. Because who is it? What's his name? The big sexy pirate was charging back at light speed, trying to help him recover, and it wasn't quite enough. Obviously, the man himself just put it in. So I don't think you can blame Bogle for not stopping that in a 2-on-1 situation.
It was the far end for me, and I suppose from the cop, I was just seeing the picture and a big wide gap between the man with the ball and anyone else thinking he's going to just shoot it. We're just letting him shoot.
Yeah,
he shot, he scored. Right.
Yeah, for me,
done, everybody.
The problem was the slip rather than the defence, I think.
Yeah.
To be fair to him,
you can sort of live with the slip because it's just one of those things. Fine, it does happen. It's unlucky.
It happened last night in the Hull game, didn't it?
I didn't see it actually.
Same thing happened. I didn't see it either. Somebody told me in the ground.
But you kind of...
Not watching Hull in an evening. Christ alive.
There was almost an air of resignation, though, about that. The fact that the goal went in because it's a slip, it's an error. Solomon's clearly a very good footballer, and he just unfortunately slipped, and we paid the price for it. Fine. That's not really the bigger grind, I think, today. It's all the stuff that followed.
Yeah, the second half was like awful. It was terrible to watch. Burnley certainly played their part in it, and I think that suited them that it became that. But first half, I mean, the big chances, we actually created 2 big chances for in.
Did we? I don't even remember. Yeah, I don't even remember getting really excited. Joseph should have scored.
Joseph went through on goal. Nonto was put through. Aronson played a really nice ball through to Nonto at one point, and he shot straight at the keeper. Like, we actually did carve out 2 really good chances in that half. Burnley were gifted one from a slip, took it well. Should have had a penalty as well in that first half. So there's an awful lot that, I don't know, it feels like that first half could have easily have gone in at 3-1 and everyone would have been delighted with it.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. That's one of the other ones from the big three. If we had to pick 3 specific things, yeah, it happened ages ago, didn't it? If Joseph scores at the start there, it is a completely different game.
I'm really glad that we didn't sign a number 10.
Yeah, there's no point.
Well done, Angus.
Well, as we said to him in the studio when he was sat in that chair, Chris, every time things go bad, it'll get thrown at you.
Yeah, we tried to sign someone who'd be in the squad of a Champions League team, and then another player whose club that we completely pissed off, and then decided to make a derisory offer. So great job.
B+ for the window.
But I mean, the other way of looking at it is, if he doesn't slip, we win this game possibly. Well, at least we certainly don't lose it.
Well, the slip would have been largely irrelevant if Joseph puts his chance in at the start. I mean, and I want to say this as well, and this is not me having a go at Joseph whatsoever. Strikers miss chances. If that had been Bamford, he would have been absolutely annihilated for missing that chance.
But equally, I don't think Bamford gets that and tries to charge the wrong goal. I think he probably checks back because we've seen that before with Bamford.
He'd have run through.
He gets in that position.
Yeah.
He doesn't fancy that direct to goal thing. It was the final touch before the shot that let Joseph down. He managed to knock it too far wide, and I think he could feel the people behind him, so he felt like he had to shoot then, but the ball was not in the right place for him.
Still should go in though, Chris.
Yeah, I have to give him credit though, because that with his lack of experience, that could just completely wreck his head for the whole game, and he did seem to come back into it and put himself about.
Yeah, but there's no arguing those that it needs to go in. It needs to go in, and then it is genuinely a different game.
Yeah, you've got at the very least you've got to make the keeper save it, haven't you?
Yeah.
And then you can pass a bit of the blame around. Say, well, at least he's got it on target. You know, you've got someone to beat, but he put it quite far wide.
Yeah, I've come away from that today feeling like my pulse was barely raised much. I think the biggest sort of reaction in the ground was probably the stuff surrounding Hannibal, and when Ampadu went in for the tackle that he ended up getting injured from, was probably the most exciting moment in terms of like atmosphere with the crowd. They set out to frustrate us, and that's what I mean about you got to give them credit because their game plan worked. Yeah. Sit on the edge of the area, and they've got decent players, decent enough to absorb it all. And we fell into that classic Farke pattern of just passing it around, passing it across, going across to the other wing. And what we didn't do today was to try, or we didn't succeed anyway, in getting it through the lines. I thought it's like they squeezed midfield, and we didn't know how to combat it again.
Mm-hmm. If the reason you're feeling very sleepy, just looking at the second half stats, a total XG of 0.21, which were all us, and from a total of 9 shots.
I'm feeling sleepy because I seem to have picked up some sort of sunburn despite being almost indoors, which says a lot about me as a person, I think.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just looking at the stats. We had a lot more accurate passes than they did. 544 accurate passes to their 181, but they sort of didn't need to, did they? They let us play in front of them a lot.
They had a lot more goalkeeper laying down with ball in hands.
Yes.
They did really well on that.
Can I just say, your man Trafford going down when the ball boy threw the ball at him, that's a 10-game ban. That's the most pathetic thing I've ever
Was it
seen.
just the ball?
Yeah, hit him on the back of the head.
Is that
Hit him
literally
on
all
the
it was?
ball. Yeah.
Wow. Because I didn't know if maybe someone had got some sort of cannon in there, and because the sorry had gone down, that was literally just the ball. I thought there'd at least be a £2 coin or something.
Or some darts.
Some darts, yeah. A dart with a golf ball. A golf ball with a nail through, sorry. No, a dart with a golf ball is really confusing to sort out, you know.
But I was going to say, we all accept that there's shithousing and time wasting under circumstances like that. But I think even the ref and the crowd were like, come on, mate. You can't be doing that.
I think he realised he'd embarrassed himself because I'm sort of directly in line, and he turned his head. You could just see his face, and you could see him going, I shouldn't have done that.
No.
Shouldn't have done that.
Yeah, there's a point at which you've got to say it goes beyond acting, and it strays into being a silly boy.
Full time, I went over to Rodon, and it was at Brownhill. I went, oh, my head hurt too, you know. It really caught me with that ball on the back.
Yeah,
just nothing happened in the second half. That was the thing with it. It was, and the subs. Farke does seem to have a knack of making things worse with subs.
Let's go straight into Farke watch, because I feel like I'm angling towards this, and I don't quite know what my grievance with him is and his football, but he's narked me a bit today.
Well, if we don't take the lead, this just happens because we don't have any ideas other than to just. It feels like there's not a proper plan when we make subs.
No,
it's just sort of change some players and see what happens. Is how it feels.
He went into a 4-4-2 to my eye, I think, when Pirro came on.
Very briefly, and then into the back three with Gruev in the middle of the back three.
Gruev, Byram, and Strauch as a back three.
Although
that's what everyone was shouting for.
He did go on the overlap at one point, didn't he? And this is the thing, right? And I'm going to drop the B-bomb now, so forgive me. Under Marcelo Bielsa, you try and smother that team. You try and throw everything at it to try and get back in that game. But I barely got the opportunity to get excited in that second half. It just feels like when we're up against this, he just doesn't know what to do. But it's the lack of plan B, I suppose.
There were plenty of those games under Bielsa as well, but the difference is instead of tapping it around on the edge of the box, we would just hit like 18 aimless crosses over Bamford's head over and over and over again. But the difference is, I do think I don't think Farke's substitutes make the game better. More often than not, they either stifle what was like not really working into totally not working, or it just, it's mostly neutral or negative changes. And today, I think that the changes after Rodon came off, the shape just didn't work.
Yeah.
Nobody knew where they were going. Nanto was pointing at Ramazani, telling him to go, no.
Yeah.
Not for me.
It killed the momentum in the game as well, what little it felt like there was.
Yeah. I think the one style of play as well, it shows itself most in the frustration of the crowd. Maybe this is Bielsa revisionism, but did people get as cross at various points? They probably did, to be honest. But the bit where, well, it happened a couple of times where we're playing it out from the back bit and it keeps going back to Meslier, back around. There was one time we were doing it, people were getting restless, and actually we did it.
It was the only option they had at that point, though, but still people got restless.
But we did it effectively, and we actually ended up playing out, and eventually Strauch found a bit of space on the left. He steps forward, he played it into midfield. I can't remember what happened after that, but the first bit of it worked, and it was fine. But then we were doing it again towards the end, and by that point people were really cross about the fact that that nothing had happened. So people were just like, fuck off! Just put it forward. Yeah. But that didn't work either. When on the odd occasion we did just knock it forward, that didn't work either. So it's on Farke to find ways of getting through this.
Mark has just said in the comments on YouTube, hi to the TSB Plus members who are on the YouTube stream as well. Describes him as the German Southgate.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. It's that's a squad that should be getting promoted. His job there is to go, right, you go out, you play like this, and then all he does is make the right subs at the right time. It's that's really the impact that he should be having in a game.
Well, I was going to say on the subs, as Dan has just said in the comments, who could have predicted Pirro on at 70 minutes, eh? And that's the thing. Everything that happened in that second half, and I think this is actually perhaps at the root of it. What do you think, Chris? Like, you could have predicted how that whole second half went.
Well, I have a note here. 67 minutes. Pirro and Rothwell coming on. Bit of pace.
Yeah, I think this is my frustration.
How long was Pirro on? 70 minutes.
Yeah.
Which actually became, half an hour, didn't it, more or less, with the injury time. But yeah, 7 touches.
Yeah.
7 too many.
And fine. I mean, did he have a shot early on, or he created a chance pretty soon after coming on, didn't he? I think he had 1 touch in the box and something happened.
Something happened. It's
not the finest description of it.
Welcome to the square ball.
It's at the far end.
For this searing analysis.
They made us play the wrong way, so I couldn't see what was happening in the second half.
Yeah, that was mean.
Who were we blaming for that, by the way? Jaden Anthony?
Yeah. They want to play the other way, yeah.
He knows.
Yeah.
Prick.
He knows the club.
I don't know if you caught this, if you stayed around long enough to see it at the very end, but after Farke went around and applauded the crowd, what was left of it, he went over and made a beeline for Jaden Anthony and gave him a big cuddle, it was a nice moment, but wasn't in the mood for it.
No,
quite frankly.
It was all kicking off to him in the cop.
Oh, what for?
I don't know, just some pushing and shoving. I don't really know what was going on. You know when something's kicking off and you think, well, I don't really know who's in the right here, so I'm just gonna stand aside.
I think you're 2 dickheads.
There's someone being shouted at for shoving. Then the person doing the shoving was not old enough to be shouted at and pushed back, so someone else got involved. I don't know what happened. Handbag. It was just the frustration of the day spilling out.
I was on the receiving end of a very middle class affront today, because where my seat is, I am exactly under the end of the overhang for the East Upper, and somebody got very giddy in the first half and must have knocked a glass of red wine over the edge of the.
You shouldn't be drinking within sight of the pitch. That person should be.
It's illegal, isn't it?
That person should be imprisoned.
Actually, do you know what? I might take this up with the club. Get Kinnear back in here. Make him answer for this.
Did you taste it? Was it definitely red wine?
What I will say is it was raining on my head and my clothes. So if you want to have a little sniff of me.
No, thank you.
No, there you go. But it smelled, and I would question the quality of the red wine they're serving up there. It smelled a bit vinegary.
Are you sure this isn't just someone's really ill and they're pissing blood?
Well, we did say somebody's either up there and it's red wine or someone's bleeding out, but I did have a sniff, and it was definitely red wine.
How much blood was on Joe Rodon's head? Did anyone see a decent view of that? Because he's changed his shirt, didn't he? So there must have been a fair bit.
I don't know. Well, that's the other end of me, so I couldn't really work out what happened, but I assume it was just a clash of heads.
Well, that was up at his end, and he's still complaining about stuff down at the other end.
No, they both went for a header. It was a good it was a good, solid clash of heads, was that?
Returning to Farker Watch, by the way, because we have got a little bit off message here. Just looking at Berren's coming in, by the way, from Leeds Live after we do this, and we're going to record the show, the West Ham for Monday. Farker's quotes from the presser: "I know after a loss you are not allowed to speak about this, but the game encouraged me that we will play a good season. Being that dominant against such a good side, you have a good setup for a positive season." I know what he means, and I agree that we will probably win a lot of games with this style of play, but shut up.
On the first half,
that's how I feel about it today.
On the first half, I do agree with him. We were the better team. We did create chances. We got unlucky. The ref bollocksed up a big decision. Fine. I could go in thinking, well, if it was being judged as a boxing match, we have definitely won this first half. And over a season, that'll translate into more wins. Second half was so shit and boring.
Yeah, I was trying to think of a game that you could compare it to, and I don't know if you remember Leeds losing to Swansea at the start of the last promotion season. I know it was different because they scored in like the 93rd minute, but it was just trying to punch a way through, not getting anywhere, and then they score.
Yeah, and you can't just will it into happening, can you? You have to, like I say, you're up against another team. It's not something that you think this should happen just because I want it to. You have to find ways to make it happen.
That's rubbish, isn't it?
Yeah, I know, but it is just frustrating, isn't it? Just very, very frustrating. I don't know. What do you make of Farker's comments? Fair enough, or?
I mean, yeah, but I suppose my point stands about if I sacked him, I'd kind of go, yeah, well, thanks for trying.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't have a better plan than Farker, to be clear. But days like this just frustrate me.
Do you feel indifferent towards Farker?
I do, because I think within the last batch of, obviously last season as a whole was good, lots of wins, but within the last batch of home games, we've got a draw against Portsmouth, we've got the end of last season where we've got the Sunderland and the Blackburn games, which were not dissimilar to that we've just watched. They basically had the similar patterns from him, that we've had loads of the ball, not a huge amount of chances, probably should have had enough chances to win the game, but then we've managed to lose them. And when it starts to fall into a pattern, like I think the difference with Bielsa is there were bad spells, but they were over in little lumps, and it made you go, oh, well, that's something we're now over, and this is going to be good again. This is just, it feels, well, when was the Blackburn game? In Sunderland.
13th of April.
It's a long time ago, is that? And I know there's been a big summer in the middle, so it's unfair to sort of say that as a part. We didn't win any games over summer, did we?
I was going to say it's like when they give a footballer like a 6-month ban, and it starts in June or whatever.
Yeah, but it feels like this has been happening for a long time. Is I suppose what I'm saying.
That's the root of my mehness, the indifference, the thinking. Yeah, we've seen this movie before, and on balance of season and of evidence, it'll probably be fine over the course of the season, but it's just all a bit predictable on days like today.
It is a little bit worrying that that's the first good team that we've played so far, and they've beaten us.
Yeah.
So I say good team. They didn't offer all that much, bar the goal that was gifted to them, basically. But
we could quite conceivably go there and beat them later in the season. You wouldn't be surprised, would you?
Oh, easily. Yeah, we easily could beat them. Their best player was the keeper. Made a couple of good saves, didn't he? I suppose
got man of the match.
At the same time, the guy who scored was touch and go for making the Italy squad for the Euros until he got injured towards the end of last season. So it's not like he's, I don't know, can't think of a name. It's not like he's Albert Adoma. Do you know what I mean? Like he's got decent pedigree.
Well.
Yeah. All right.
Let's. I can't believe we made it this far into the show without talking about the ref. Not well to any great extent, because I felt in that first half towards the end, the break came at a good time for him, because I think he'd started to lose control of that game. I think he didn't know what he was doing. From like the penalty decision or the non-penalty decision onwards, because that somebody messaged me. I haven't seen it back. Somebody messaged me and said that is a stonewall penalty.
It looked like it. Yeah,
you were at that end, Michael. Did your eyes see it?
I think he may have got the ball eventually, or a bit of it, but I actually think he just booted his legs, and then it wasn't his legs. It was Solomon's legs that actually took the ball, because he'd kicked them that hard. He'd managed to move them forward into it, and the ref gave a corner in that shithousey way of like, whoa. You can have a corner.
I was going to say, there's kind of...
You might score from this.
That's what I mean about losing control. They start to give free kicks based on what the crowd's doing and how people start reacting, and they get swept along with the occasion. I felt like that's what he was straying towards that. What did you make of him, Chris?
He was making a rod for his own back at times. Like the booking Humphreys for the throw-in nonsense, but then he went and did it again because I think in Humphreys' mind he knows he's not going to have the bottle to send me off here because that would be, it would be controversial despite it being by the book or whatever. But it did feel, I don't know, it's kind of exasperating because you see the same thing every week. The referee, anytime you're behind, he's doing the hurry up thing, or he's standing talking to someone on the halfway line whilst the keeper's bouncing the ball. It's hard to get too emotional about referees because they're mostly shit.
Some of the advantages given and not given were weird as well.
Yeah,
where he was like trying to play on, but give us a free kick on the edge of the box. That was the most frustrating one. It was clearly a foul, but he was like, "No, you've got the ball, still play advantage." It's like, "Yeah, but we've got the ball up against two banks of defenders here. Like, why would we want this?"
and there was one where I think he was looking to see whether or not it was a corner, and he's standing on the edge of the box, and he's looking at the linesman behind him, who's 50 yards away,
Yeah, I saw that.
for something it wasn't the touch line, it was behind the goal. What's the linesman going to say?
Yeah. The linesman was equally shit. Although he did do, I don't know who's battling slightly with the sun because it points at the east stand, doesn't it, for these...
The inverse Helder Costa to Patrick Bamford. He was
yes,
blinded by
very
the
similar,
lights. Yeah.
But I think the sun is brighter than floodlights. But there was a handball towards the end of the first half, and he flagged so enthusiastically for it.
Yeah.
It was very avant-garde. It was like a creative dance thing he was doing.
It was like he's just got a new flag and he hadn't had a chance to use it yet, and he's like, that was his first big chance.
In my head, he was like galloping and skipping as he started waving this flag. It was very strange to watch. I was like, what's he doing?
It was very panicked. The way he waved the flag, it was as if like the referee was just going to play on and play on and play on. He's like, "Come on,
it's my turn.
I saw a handball."
But yeah, it wasn't a great performance from him. I didn't think it got a bit better. I think after the break for a bit.
There was that one. Junior Firpo took the ball about a yard out of play and he didn't spot that either.
But they're not right good at this level, are they? They're not right good in the Premier League.
Yeah.
Well, no.
Look, the ref's rubbish, but you know they're going to be rubbish. So try and make adjustments. Try and take the referee out of it.
Yeah.
I can't remember whether it was in boxing or MMA, but one of the promoters basically just said, "Look, if you want to win the fight, just go and knock them out. Don't let it go to the judges because they don't know what they're doing."
Right. All right.
James Bell, the referee, by the way.
Yes, by name and nature.
Just so we can name him.
I'm going to throw a right stat at you now. Thanks to Finlay Holt for this one. Haven't won a 12:30 kickoff since January. Don't know if it's true. Not fact checked it.
Don't know many have had either.
Must be quite a lot.
Probably, yeah.
Plymouth away, 17th of February. If I pull that out of nowhere, I feel like
shut up with your information here.
Yeah, I feel like that maybe means a home 12:30 kickoff.
Maybe, yeah.
I will say this.
That was a lunchtime kickoff. Yeah, you're right.
James Bell news from Sheffield.
Ah,
come on, like.
Well, he whether or not he's from Sheffield or not, but he was officiating games in the Sheffield and District Junior League.
Right.
Last week.
Very quick ascent into the Football League.
Yeah.
Oh, so are we officially saying he's a Leeds-hating bastard?
It's undoubtedly true.
Yeah.
Obviously.
Yeah.
Obviously.
All right. That answers that then.
In Italy, for just like a little level of chaos, when they're announcing the referees, they put in brackets where they're from. So you do know where the referee's from, even like in the match program or whatever. So I think we should start doing that because it just...
Golf Foxtrot is asking, so why did we have to kick off at 12:30 if not the main match on TV? Well, we're not the main match, but they're doing a stupid new broadcast thing where they're showing loads of matches. So we were on Sky Sports Plus. We were like the secondary game.
What was the first game?
A different one.
What game is bigger than Leeds in the Championship? Especially Leeds and a team who were relegated from the Premier League.
We had Oxford Stoke and we had Millwall against Luton.
When did Scum kick off? They were playing as well, weren't they? Was that?
Yeah, but there's also an EFL game as well as a Premier League. So the Premier League is on TNT Sport, and then Sky have the EFL, but they show it's a number of 12:30s, right? Because I think they're all effectively live or on the red button. I don't even care.
I don't have Sky.
Oh,
so I don't,
just the
I don't
visual.
really care.
Luton, Millwall. Thank you to Sam who's just told us.
Any riots? That's basically why they have. That's essentially why that's a game, isn't it? Because there was a massive riot in
1985, or whenever it was,
and
it was.
Who is watching that?
God, no one goes to the actual games to watch Luton or Millwall. So,
what should we talk about?
I thought the last 10 minutes were pretty pathetic.
Yeah,
just no real fight. Not really. I think a bit of a lack of leadership. Maybe I'm being harsh, but it just felt it didn't feel like we were going to score. It didn't even feel like we were going to really threaten.
If you look at the timing of Burnley's subs, 64, 73, 90, 90. So he knew what he was doing there, taking the wind out of the sails towards the end, I think, Scott Parker.
Wasn't just towards the end, was it? It was the whole half.
But then we made our subs, actually, maybe it was our subs that killed it.
Our subs did kill it
68
to a
was
large extent.
68 was Rothwell and Pirro, and then it was Byram and Ramzani at 78, and then Tanaka came on at 86. So yeah, so three sub windows in that last 20 minutes. And yeah, did we kill our own momentum?
Did we have any momentum to kill?
We didn't have much, but what little we had, we really dug our heels in.
I've got a note that their double sub in the 92nd minute took 48 seconds from the thing going up to the second player walking off the pitch.
Right.
Yeah. The ball was in play for about 3 minutes of that added time.
But it's one of your bugbears, that, isn't it? You really don't like it.
It really is. And just keepers laying down with the ball in their arms, like, it's just such an obvious rule. But it used to exist.
6 seconds.
I think 6 is a bit tight, but if you said like 10 from the second the ball is within the keepers, because sometimes like if they've just stretched up and caught across, there's a crowd of people, whatever, I can see you might need a second or two to set yourself. If you made it 10 seconds, that'd be really easy to referee. And no one can argue that's not enough time to just get rid of a ball. But like Trafford was doing it 20, 30 seconds on multiple occasions, and they're laying down with it. It's just weird.
Weird.
Well, it is weird. Like this, it's just an odd quirk of the game, though, isn't it?
That it's allowed to happen.
That you're allowed to catch a ball and then lay down with it for a bit.
What have you done that for? You didn't need to.
Exactly. You stood up with it a second.
You were holding it by your tummy.
Exactly. It's like the weird thing about if a defender is fouled in the ailing positions, the level of contact required for a foul there is an altogether different world than the amount of contact required to give a penalty. But why? Just let fullbacks flop around. Now we've not got ailing as well. We're not even any good at this. But just let fullbacks deal with it if the ball's in the corner.
Right.
Don't let them just like stop and then get a little touch and then fall over.
Michael fixes football.
Because it's boring.
Right.
It'd make it much more entertaining if people had to play it out, or just Sunday League it into the stand.
Hey, Andrew's posing an interesting question, saying Sunderland are 7 points ahead now as it stands, thanks to Rooney throwing yet another game. Cardiff now a must win. Sort of is, isn't it?
You are getting
Probably.
Because we are falling into the same pattern as last season, aren't we, boys and girls?
8 points from 5, isn't it? 8 points from 5, which means we're getting relegated, according to your statistics.
No, I think we stay up, don't we, with that?
I'll say this. This is how out of touch I am with the Championship. I saw Burnley's number 19 and went, oh, there's Mate Vidra.
He was doing quite Ashley Barnesy stuff, actually, was that striker at times. He was like just slight acts of aggression and shoving of defenders when they're in the air and stuff. It kind of reminded me a bit of him.
Who's more hateful, Hannibal or Ashley Barnes?
Hannibal.
I thought the Hannibal stuff was quite funny.
See,
because he properly, you can really lean into a thing there. I know he's a little scum bastard. I know he is. But the way he did that and then milked their fans, like when he got round the corner, I thought it was pretty hilarious, to be honest.
But equally, I would have probably thought it was hilarious if something quite big had twatted him from the south stand.
No, that would have also been quite funny. But we're not encouraging that.
Truth be told, I wouldn't have done it myself.
Maybe a bit of the roof comes down.
But if something had hit him, I'd have gone, well, there you go.
Yeah.
Sometimes these things happen.
Yeah, I hate the Championship.
He was being a prick, and he's also just not very good.
Right,
was the other thing.
He did have our fans on strings. I would say, if we're going to use some
that is probably true.
Young people language.
Is that what they say? Yes. No, yeah. I just thought it was quite funny. He played the pantomime villain very well, but to be honest, it probably needed it. It need. Yeah.
I think it made a shit day worse.
Right.
If I'm honest, didn't enjoy it at all.
Yeah, but as I was saying before, like the biggest moment when the crowd kind of gave a big sort of encouraging roar was when Ampadu, I think it might have been that when Ampadu put the tackle in on him. You kind of just want to see a little bit of blood and thunder, and it's just pass it back, whatever.
We're quite simple in like you can play a brilliant pass or whatever, and you get some claps. If you just empty someone, that'll get the crowd going. And sometimes that's what it needs.
Yeah,
I think every game, one player should nominate themselves to be the person who takes the yellow for emptying someone when the crowd goes quiet.
I fully expected someone to bank a yellow actually with Hannibal in that second half. But I thought maybe Ampadu has just let it slide for now. Jack Charlton's little black book, write his name in there. I'll get him second half.
Before we started recording, you were saying, Chris, like on a booking, being an obvious cock, why didn't we just pick on him? Just like stepping on his toes and pulling his hair a bit and just little nudges.
Oh, you sexy devil.
Do you like stepping on the toes on your kicks as well? I bloody love it.
When you put your high heels on, Michael, yes.
Yeah, because like I played rugby a bit when I was younger, and like my coach would be, I think it was his way of saying, you're not that great, but you can wind people up. But he would say like, oh, number 7, I remember the last time we played them, like he was a little bit mouthy or whatever. Just go and say something completely mental in front of him and see if he, and it does work. If you're standing behind Hannibal, you'd be nipping at him. I don't know, like just standing on his Achilles a little bit, just little things.
Start making some
guy's gonna go nuts.
Yo mama jokes in his ear. Yeah,
that sort of thing.
I was going to say,
actually, leave it with me.
Right. Oh, okay.
I'll track his mum down,
Mrs. Hannibal.
I'll find some genuinely personal things I can say about her.
I think is Rob interviewed Simon Johnson once of this parish. It's in the mag, is it?
Yeah, it's in issue 2 of the mag. I can't believe I don't have a copy of it with me, but you should buy it. Yeah,
it's available on the website, as is the mug that you're about to show, Michael, by the way, where we haul some stuff off. But I was going to say, in that interview, Simon Johnson says that when he first made a first team debut, I can't remember who it said that he played up against, but it was a grizzled sort of championship bastard style player who proper just punched him in the ribs.
Oh, I don't know why I've got David Unsworth in my head.
It's not Unsworth, but
him.
it's somebody of that ilk, like a big physical centre
back.
Yeah. It's irrelevant. It's in there somewhere. But
David Weir
just took an absolute punch in the ribs, and that's what you need to start doing. Punch Hannibal.
Yeah. If you see him in the street, no, just on a pitch. It's weird, don't it? Actually, you can say, "Don't push him on the street." That'd be out of line.
Yeah, no, you could
do it on a pitch.
You could do jail time.
Obviously, on a football pitch, it's absolutely fine.
Well, I mean, if you were to slide tackle someone walking down Call Lane later, you'd probably get arrested too. So,
that's true.
Arden asks, "Is Hannibal going to be the villain of the week?" I think maybe we can't give him that because that's what he wants.
Yeah, he would also have us on strings at that point if that was the case.
Yeah.
I think we should.
He was pantomime villain of the week.
Probably the most upsetting thing you could point out is that he's 21 and playing for Burnley, and he probably had higher hopes for his career. Because I think he was a very promising 18, 19-year-old. A couple of years later, here he is. So, having failed under Victor Orta.
Being at Burnley doesn't do anything bad for Vincent Kompany. He's now managing Bayern Munich. So
that's an extraordinary bit of upward failure, isn't it? Deitch never got the chance.
Must have a good agent, hey? Must have a good agent. Can you pick a man of the match out of that shower today?
Gruev for me, I think. Just
he didn't shoot late on. That frustrated me.
That probably would have rolled into the keeper's hands anyway.
Possibly. In a game where we created no chances, it definitely opened up for him for a second in the last minutes, and he was like, "No."
Can I put forward generational talent out and Aka?
Oh, he was brilliant, wasn't he?
Yeah, did you like it when he came on?
Yes. What was your favourite thing he did?
The pass, that pass that he did.
I've one Ayo Tanaka note, and you're not going to like it.
Go on.
It's whenever he received the pass from Bogle's throw-in. Bogle clearly offside. He passed it straight back to him.
Yeah, that was poor.
Thinking.
Yeah, I punched the seat in front of me at that point.
Gruev was the FOTMOB man of the match.
Right.
See?
Well, for us. Anyway,
Andrew's calling Aronson as the first half man of the match.
Yeah, he went a bit Brendan Aronson 1.0 second half, didn't he? He did a lot of falling over, which wasn't great.
I did enjoy Joe Rodon's definite professional foul in the first half, but 15, 16 minutes in.
Oh, when he got through, yeah.
100%. Like if there was it was a foul, and then I think he has a second bite at him, and it's a little bit more normal, but if he brings him down that moment, he's off. Yeah,
he did just enough, I think. He just hampered him just enough that he didn't get the card. I thought it was a great, considering he'd been turned, and obviously we've broken Joe Rodon now because we've signed him. He got turned by the centre forward, got the wrong side of him through the middle, did just enough to stop him from scoring. I thought it was a good bit of taking it right up to the line and possibly dipping your toes over it. I thought
there was the Junior Firpo yellow as well, which was
good, solid yellow. Great yellow.
I think that was so far off the ball. I was quite confused by it because was it Was there basically just a ball knocked over the top and he just held someone?
Yeah, he did the same in the first half, or maybe that was the first. He did the same thing earlier, where a guy got past him and he pulled at him, which is very Premier League football.
Do you think the guy made a mug of him?
Hey.
Do you, Michael? What's that in your hands? Oh, goodness me!
It's a Junior Firpo mug. I need to get my face out of shots while being in focus. There you go. It's not great if you're listening.
Sold,
but I got it.
Sold in its bloody hundreds.
You are listening.
Oh wow!
There you go.
Made of stronger stuff than Leeds United.
That's how it sounds.
So yeah, you can get a.
People kept asking for it.
We've delivered it.
Junior's bought it.
He has. He genuinely has.
That's all you need to know.
Yeah. We are going to be sending a bunch of them up to Thorpe Arch, but yeah, the mug is available on the website squareball.net. Right then, how are you feeling, Michael Normanson, on your optimism scale? Any of it left, and bearing in mind when we are sort of time stamping it through Leeds United eras, talking about your optimism. Like, so what is this like?
What happened early in that Kevin Blackwell season? Dennis Wise in charge by the end of the year. That's how I'm feeling.
2000 and
so we're getting relegated. 2006, 7, yeah, early 2006.
Right,
is how this feels. No, it doesn't. It feels. What happened at the start of last year? It feels a little bit like losing to Southampton or something at the start of last year.
Yeah,
when you kind of went, oh, maybe we're not.
Maybe
we're not very good.
There you go. Final question about football. Were there any similarities with the Southampton game last year, or the Southampton fixtures?
Southampton played us off the park 3 times, though.
Yeah, I was going to say Southampton actually outplayed us. That was a fair element of fortune in the win for Burnley today. I mean, this is a Leeds podcast, so we can take it away from them. They got pretty lucky to win it today. Southampton deservedly beat us 3 times.
You think?
I would say so.
100%.
Yeah. Fair enough.
So I've not got the stats up anymore, but Burnley completed like 8 passes or something in this game and won. Southampton probably completed 1,000. And I'm not exaggerating either of those.
Great stuff. Right then.
Any thoughts for Scott Parker's outfit today?
Didn't look at it. Far side from me, so.
Just like a schoolboy.
I was thinking he looked like a university professor in some sort of American rom-com.
Right. I'm going to check it out. I haven't seen the pictures of him, but I'm sure I'll hate it.
Yeah.
Time is up then on the match ball.
181 passes they completed.
Sounds like too
Rubbish.
many. Members, thanks for joining us on the live stream. Check out the audio version of this in the members feed for some match ball extra time, some bonus chat coming your way next. We'll find out exactly what it is that Michael's drinking there, because that's not Red Bull, is it? You've gone off brand.
It's not Red Bull. Hey, I should also give credit. Someone brought me, following the jelly bean insult for bald men, that was from, what do you call him? The flying pig scum bloke.
Yep.
Someone brought me some Haribo jelly beans.
Very nice.
Nice.
I hope somebody's laced them with arsenic so this misery could be over. If you want to become a member, head to thesquareball.net/plus. We'll be back with all the usual shows across this coming week as well. Weekly roundups, propaganda's coming. Oh, great. And the West Stand, Baron Cross is going to be on the show Monday, debriefing things from the press box. All on your feed. We'll see you soon. See you in a bit.
The Match Ball.